Monday. Happy Monday. Welcome back to my channel. Normally, you only see me on the weekend, and I'm going to tell you all about why I didn't come on. So tonight, we're going to talk about the Nuekie skincare line. I went to Hampton this weekend for their beauty and wellness inaugural Dirt Bar. The company was started by Eunice Cofie-Obeng. She's a cosmetic chemist and an alumni of FAMU, and she was born in Ghana. And so I'll tell you all about the event. I have the agenda right here, and that's mainly what we're going to focus on tonight. I just finished doing an interview for the Melanin Initiative podcast with a nurse named Andrew. I don't want to mess his name up. Andrews Yanteki. He's been a nurse for about 2 years now. He works in the ED. He's waiting for his application to come back from F&P school. He is a graduate of GW like myself, and he started a foundation over in Ghana to help with kind of like those emergency responses. So CPR, stop the bleed, and patient safety. So that interview will likely come out. I'll have to look at the schedule. So stay tuned. I'll let you know. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Dr. Kimberly Madison, a doctorally prepared nurse practitioner, and I use the internet to bring awareness about the beauty of dermatology, sharing my journey as I become an entrepreneur who's passionate about derm and that loves to write about it, read about it, and get more people interested so that when you are an NP applying for that first job, you'll be qualified, confident, and ready to join that practice. They'll be happy to have you on board, knowing you're going to be able to hit the ground running to improve patient outcomes, decrease wait times, and find a career and specialty that brings a lot of fulfillment to you and allows you to still have that joy outside of clinic. Hello, Mother. I'm going to do my best to make this really quick because I'm also supposed to get on a call with my web designer because I want to make the website, my clinic. If you don't know, I am building a telederm practice called Mahogany Telederm. So it's a telehealth practice that provides skin, hair, and nail care. And I've been building that website for a little while now, actually. It still needs some tweaking, but I want to make it live to share it as a case study like my life, and also to hold me a little bit accountable, but mostly for the teaching aspect of it so that you can watch that journey unfold. The other part of that is it helps me get indexed a lot sooner in Google, which takes an average about 3 months. And so by having all of you go over there and visit and check it out, it'll be much higher on the index when I'm actually open for practice. So we're going to hop on a call tonight. Per usual, I'm doing multiple things because I'm ordering groceries because we were away all weekend. And they're always telling me what they don't have. So that's what we're talking about. So let's jump into it. So if you don't know, I've already interviewed Eunice, who is the founder of the Nuekie Skincare line on the Melanin Initiative podcast. I'll need to link that in the description box for you. And I've talked about this event multiple times. So now it's over. So now I'm going to do a review. I'm also going to write an article on the blog about it. But I want to start with a social media tip before I forget, because I didn't write down any notes for today as my reminder. Social media tip. So my first one is to go do as little editing as possible. That'll help you be more consistent and help you reduce social media burnout by spending so much time trying to do all the things. So one quick tip, I go live. I love it. I typically will just copy the caption that I had before and edit it to fit appropriate topics for whatever I'm talking about here. Down below, you'll see that there's a section for tags. I go back to the old video. The most updated one is probably closely related to what I'll be talking about in the latest video. There's a little icon. It's like 2 little pages. It's a copy. I just copy that and paste it over here. It helps me get on much faster. Besides the video, the most time I spend is on creating the thumbnail, which, you know what? I don't think I did that. I'll have to add that in here when we're done. And then I just try to take a new picture during the week. If not, I just use an old one. And I remove the background using Canva, which does require a paid subscription. If you don't want to pay for the subscription, you might be able to remove the background somewhere else, or just make sure you like your background. That's all. Try to keep it simple. So that's my social media tip. And then I'm going to start doing this thing where I give ideas on different jobs, entrepreneurial opportunities for nurses and nurse practitioners. we'll see how far I can go before I run out of ideas. So the first one is going to be one that I learned about this weekend that I think is absolutely beautiful. So I already talked about last week about cosmetic chemistry. So had I fallen in love with derm then, or even not, if you're a student, whether you're pre-med or nursing, because I'm a second degree student, so I did my whole first 4 years in school as a pre-med biology major. And when I was deciding between bio and chem, it was really, to me at the time, they were pretty much the same. It was a coin toss. But now, if you're watching this and you're thinking, oh, I think I might love derm, think about cosmetic chemistry. That will allow you to create these products, which I learned this weekend. When you see providers and celebrities creating products, they're working with a cosmetic chemist. And how cool is that you can bring these things to market? So whether you pursue your clinical licensure and certification or not, you can still be in derm. And that's what I'm here to do, is to teach you ways to get into derm. So first off, how beautiful is this? So this is just one of a little illustration that she shared with us on post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, which is one of the other kind of videos I make because I have it all over my neck from atopic dermatitis. But the thing that makes this unique and beautiful is the skin diagram is a person of color, which I never would have thought about, the fact that in all my years of school, from biology to grad school I've taken AP, I've taken, what is it, anatomy and physiology so many times. Every program I was part of, we had to do A&P. So I know the human body pretty well. And I've seen so many textbooks, so many journal articles, regular books, and never have I seen it on brown skin. And so it's beautiful. She commissioned a medical illustrator, which is a degree, and actually it's at Hopkins. She commissioned them to create this for her. And apparently they're very, very busy. Yeah, I can imagine, especially if there's not a lot of them. And I just think this is beautiful. So if you're into art, maybe you don't even want to do, patient care. This is a job. So actually I said I was going to say one job, but you're getting three. So the cosmetic chemist is one way you can get into derm, or the beauty industry, which is what this weekend was all about. So that was a new experience for me, the beauty industry. And then the medical illustrator, that's another one, which I think is beautiful. And yeah, I guess that was two. So that's two. So anyway, so she commissioned them to do this, and I think it's beautiful. And it's given me so many ideas. Seeing this card and watching, maybe you know Shameless Maya, she's been on YouTube for 12 years talking about her life. And she recently has been writing a book ever since she became a mother. And she put out a video this weekend about how she created her own illustration. And that made me think, ooh, maybe I should do that. But not me personally, maybe an illustrator. Now, I wouldn't hold up the book release for that, because when you release a book, you can always go back and change the cover. But yeah, moving forward, I would love to do that, because I actually want to start writing some children's books too. And I think this would be perfect to hire someone for that. So yeah, two jobs. Oh, so yeah, the cosmetic chemist and the medical illustrator are some ways that you can contribute to increasing access to images in medicine that reflect everyone, that reflect the whole population. And it's just the smallest detail, but man, does it make a difference. It's just beautiful. It's really beautiful to see. And it will help so much when it comes to education. And so one thing that was pointed out, so the event, right? It was Saturday and Sunday at the Hampton Convention Center. And we had a host of speakers. This is another one of the handouts. This is kind of like the face of the brand. And then this is Eunice, if you didn't know, right there. And she was there, her daughter and her husband. And so let's go through, and this is the line. It will be available at the end of July. When that happens, I'll come and talk about it. Of course, I'm going to test it out and tell you my thoughts. I'm really eager. I'm not a product junkie, so I might buy products and give them to other people. But and by other people, I mean my partner. I make him try everything. And my mom, they're my test subjects. But I do want to try this moisture one. I do tend to try a bunch of different moisture products. But yeah, they're actually starting an organization to support other Black female chemists cosmetic chemist. So when that is available, they're still working on that. When that's available, I'll let you know too, because I think that is important to help with awareness. So I was at the convention center from 10 to 5. We had lots of breaks, which was wonderful. It was a nice intimate setting, and it was really perfect. Honestly, I think everyone who was there for me, because I just got so much out of the event. And I've come on here a few times where I've had to travel, and I say, oh, I'm going to try to come on here and produce a video. And I've been on the fence about whether I should maintain that kind of schedule. But this weekend, I decided that, for certain, when you create a lot of content, and if you don't know, I'm the social media manager at Diversity and Dermatology also. So I create a lot of content, and you can get burned out kind of quickly, and you can get not really interested in looking at content all the time. And I used to listen to people say, oh, I don't really watch other people's channels. And I totally get how that happens. It's like working at the ice cream shop and not wanting to eat ice cream anymore. And so that happens. And I know after the conference, I was kind of just like, oh man, I don't want to look at anything else, because you're just in your camera all the time. And so one solution I've come up with is, prior to like a big event where you're going to need that space afterwards to maintain that consistency, is just to batch content in advance. And so in August, I'll be on sabbatical, because it's a holiday, if you didn't know. It's my birthday all month, and so I'll be on sabbatical. So prior to that, I'll batch content, some videos, and just schedule them here, and they'll be up, and I'll be on a break. So that's my other social media tip for you. But I decided that, I really wanted to be present, and so I was. And so I took just a few videos, but other than that, I was just really present. And it's a time to really just allow yourself to be a sponge and in the moment, and not in the lens, always thinking about the future or that shot or that lighting. And then sometimes you're not in a crowd, especially when it's really intimate. You're kind of getting people's permission about being on camera. And so I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to be present. And so that's what I did. And that's why I'm here on Monday. In the future, I don't know if I feel the need to always create a video every week. I don't know. But that's why we're going to try to keep this one short and sweet. So on Saturday, the first thing we had was Eunice came up and she talked to us about the story behind the brand, the science behind their beauty. And we had lots of wellness breaks, which was an opportunity. It was, it could have had an opportunity to eat and get something to drink. But you know what? We spent so much time like just talking, and it was networking. It was definitely a lot of networking. But it was really genuine. It was really sweet. And so that's how we kind of used our wellness breaks. And we got a lot of time to chat with Eunice, which was really nice. She's so sweet and approachable. And I just love that she even came up with this idea. Because actually, when I was sitting there thinking, I was like, there's the conference that I typically go to, which is heavy for clinicians. And then you have the public. And it's like, oh, I wish they could have access to some of this information at a level that they could understand. And that's what she was thinking, because typically for the last 10 years, she speaks to estheticians about skincare, particularly as it impacts skin of color. And she just thought, what if I bring it to the consumer? And so that's where this idea came from. And I think it's phenomenal. And to her credit, she says, when it's beauty, our community, we're drawn to it. There's numbers out there on how much we spend on products. But when it's wellness, it's not the same impact. And, she's 100% right about that. And so bringing the two together is a fabulous idea. And I just pray to see it, because she continues, and it continues to grow and get bigger, and more people get access to that information. I kind of wish, I'm going to tell her, I wish she had recorded it on YouTube, because then it could live on forever and really get out there to the masses. So, and speaking of wellness and beauty, we had a whole lot of topics that reflected both. So then we had Fuel Your Fitness with, and you're going to hear more about these people on the podcast. So this is just your introduction. Like I said, I never go anywhere without a strategy. So I wore my t-shirts for the podcast and for my practice. And I never leave without taking something with me. So new relationships, new partnerships, new opportunities to work together. And I walked away with a lot of those. So we have Vicki Bell, who's a Pilates instructor. A lot of people were local to this, that part of the Virginia, which is, I have to say, I've been there many times, but I really enjoyed it. It was really a nice place to relax. And it kind of has that touristy vibe. So I always like going to places like that. But Vicki Bell, she's a Pilates instructor. She's also a real estate agent. She came on and talked to us about what Pilates is and the benefits and the trends that she's been seeing in the market, which is more women of color entering that space and feeling more welcomed. It's not nearly where it needs to be, but it is growing. And my mom, who's here, she does Pilates. So there's Pilates with the reformer, that machine that you see, and then there's mat Pilates. That's the baby. Which is obviously on a mat. And she said that one can be a little bit more challenging because you don't have the machine to kind of assist you. Then there was Brittany Foster Hall, and so she actually has her master's in public health. She's also a real estate agent. One of her social media videos went viral, so she has a large following, maybe 45,000 people. But she's one of the lead coaches for Black Girls Tennis Club. They have chapters like around and stuff like that. Like in wherever you live, you might be able to find one. But yeah, they're just bringing awareness and building a community to get more women of color playing tennis. And she talked about, the beauty of it, how you can play it, as long as you want. Both of them talk about how you can, modify it to fit all able bodies. And I think she went down to Florida and worked with the special athletes, some kind of a program. The puppy is always going to do puppy things. Then Eunice came back and talked about the science of hair, and she brought up CCCA, which I was so happy because I always want to bring awareness to that. I don't know if I've talked about it on this channel, which is central centrifugal cicatricial alopecia. It's an irreversible scarring type of alopecia that predominantly impacts women of color, typically getting diagnosed in their 30s and 40s. And so it's irreversible and scarring. And the type of damage that we see at that time suggests that perhaps it starts in adolescence, and who's looking for hair loss when you're a teenager. And so it just breaks my heart that someone as young as 30 and 40 has to suffer with something that's irreversible and they didn't even know anything about it. And so I just want to bring as much awareness as I can to everyone. Certainly if you're a dermatology provider, you're going to know about it. But if you don't work in derm, or even if you're an esthetician who typically sees patients more often, even barbers, right? It's important that they get that same education because they are going to likely interact with patients and clients more frequently, and they're going to sometimes be those first eyes. And so speaking of the barbershop, this week, DMPs of Color, we have an event with barbers. It's a virtual event. I don't know if it's open to everyone. It's definitely open to members. And so, if you're not a member, you can certainly join. But I'll put that link in the bio too. So I have DMPs of Color, the podcast. And I want me and the girls to do more events like that, like in the barbershop. And after this weekend, I got inspired to do more things for estheticians because they're also not getting that education when it comes to skin of color. And so that was one little thing that I did walk away with, being aware of. Then we had, oh my gosh, they had some really, what do you want to say? Experienced panelists. So Fani Harrell, she's the owner of Salon Noah, which is a hair salon in that area. You're gonna hear more about her too. And they just talked about their experience with hair, the kind of environment they set, because there were a lot of estheticians there. And so she was doing a lot of mentoring and talking about the importance of business and mentorship and education and smart hair care practices. That was a big component of it. Shanita Robinson, owner of Humble Hair. Maybe, I don't know if at some point I might come back and link everyone in the description box. But like I said, you'll see them on the podcast in the future. Oh man, this was so fun. Dr. Tanisha Bazemore, she is an optometrist, and man, I was saying I've never had a Black optometrist. I mean, I know they exist, but I never had one personally. And she just had such a great demeanor. She has 2 locations, which I think is awesome. She's an AKA. She had her colors on, and she was just such a great teacher too. That made it like I would love it. Like, who doesn't want to have fun when they go to the doctor? And so we talked about the importance of eye health. Different procedures you can have, the different options you should be presented with. It was really good. So in the fall with the podcast, the plan is like kind of the theme is to have different types of specialists on so that you can learn about these different types of specialties. And so I want to have an eye doctor on. talk to, she's a dentist. She's a public health dentist. And she's agreed to come on the show. So look out for that. And then, oh, I don't want to mess up her name, but Dr. T, she is the, okay, hold on. Because he's not going to stop. This is Dr. T. She's the co-founder of Mango Medical, which is a direct patient care or direct primary care clinic. And so this is a model that's become really popular amongst NP entrepreneurs, if you don't know, where it's typically cash based, and they can also take their claims and to their insurance and ask for it to get reimbursed. But I know most of the people that I know that do it, like Dr. T, they practice an integrative or functional medicine. So the visits are like 30 to 60 minutes long, and yeah, they do integrative care. And so she mainly spent a lot of time talking about how the model is different, how the interaction with the patient is different, and then the different areas of care that are typically addressed. Yeah. And then at the same time, so you know what, she came on yesterday because she got her flight, she had like flight issues. She came on Sunday at the end with Eunice's husband, who is a internist, but he's actually right now taking a program for lifestyle medicine, which we just sat down and talked with Dr. Latae de Jesus on the Melanin Initiative about lifestyle medicine, because that's her specialty too. And so it was just so good to see. I mean, it's good in general to see so many of us in healthcare going to that preventative care. And I think that's just a result of after you've been in healthcare, just like patients say, you know, I don't want to just cover it up. I want to find the problem. So it's so good to see that we're all kind of starting to speak the same language, and that people are going back and getting the care that going back and getting the education so we can provide the care that the consumers are wanting. So then on Sunday, oh, so here's another job. Should I tell you this job or wait till you have to check it in my book? But we had some other ladies coming on talking about, what do you call it? Nail health. And it was really, really good. And so the job could be like a nail care specialist, but also they have medical nail tech. It's not necessarily nationwide, like it's still kind of growing. There's still kind of a lot of push to show the importance of it. And when she was talking, it reminded me of what Dr. Yvette Conyers was talking about in her episode on the Melanin Initiative, that as an NP trying to do like preventative foot care, in the beginning, there was a little bit of a push from podiatrists thinking that they were trying to like overstep. My mom said, yes, she loved the conference, watching a wealth of information of people of color. Can't wait for the next one. She'll be networking. So yeah, and initially NPs who provide foot care were getting a lot of pushback, but just with that open communication and dialogue, they started to see like, you know, they can really be a benefit, kind of like primary care, foot care, doing all those initial assessments and that basic knowledge and health promotion to help reduce the complicated cases. And so that podiatrists who are surgeons can spend more time doing surgery and taking care of those complex cases. And so now there's been more of an embrace of nurse practitioners, and now I'm learning medical nail techs getting it, being invited in to help, you know, improve patient care and education, which is like the big one. And then Eunice came back, talked about hyperpigmentation and melasma. I shared my journey. And they had really great questions too about like different types of treatment and prevention. You gotta love those questions. And dynastic wealth. That one deserves its own episode. You're gonna hear a whole lot more, but the speaker for that, she was actually the keynote, is Dr. Latanya White. She is the CEO of Concept Creative Group. And boy, did she changed my life, actually. And she came and shared her doctoral thesis, which is built on this framework of dynastic wealth, and how it's different in generational wealth. So stay tuned for that. I'm trying to get her connected. I'm getting her connected. And then she was on a panelist with Dr. Glenda Evans, the two of them powerhouses. I might come back separately and talk about this Virginia, I can't remember what this is called. Let me check real quick. At Hampton, they have this like entrepreneurial center. if your business is based here in Virginia. Now, right now, they don't have Virginia Workforce Innovation and Entrepreneur Center. They don't, I think the applications are closed right now, but they're doing phenomenal work, free resources, and helping entrepreneurs really from the ground all the way up. Um, and so even though like my practice is actually based out in Texas, so I wouldn't be a candidate for this program, but she still connected me to someone who could be a great candidate, or who could be a good connect for me in Houston, who's part of the Black Chamber of Commerce. So always still, and she actually, I'm connecting her with Tanja Johnson, the founder of Beautifully Unblemished, which is a patient support group. Oh, yes, thank you. For vitiligo, it's Vitiligo Awareness Month. Tanja Johnson's coming on the podcast to tell us about vitiligo, her personal experience, and what motivated her to start a support group. So, I'll come back and let you know about that. And then, yeah, that kind of rounds us out. And so, yeah, it was just a beautiful opportunity to, it was a beautiful space. Just like when I went to DC Black Pride, stepping outside of the clinic, and just being with the people in a space that they feel safe, where the language is broken down so that they can understand. And so, and I wanted to be a sponge. I wanted to learn. I shared some of my journeys and I spoke up when there was something of interest to me, but really I was just trying to do as much listening as possible. And so I just can't thank them enough. There was one lady there, a trichologist. I want to say her name right too, because she just came out with a line, and I should tell you the name of that line. I'll put her link in the bottom too. Her name is Cashel Rourke, and her line, she's a trichologist and a licensed cosmetologist out in that area too. And she's coming out with her own line. It's actually, I think it is out. Let's see. Exosia. So I'll put that in the link. But she just was so uplifting. She really spoke, Exusia. I think it's Exusia. Let's see.
Welcome back. I'm Keisha, and I hope you guys are doing well. Today I'm coming on here to answer a few of your questions about our Exusia revitalizing hair growth system. So let's get into it.
And that's her in real life. She was so positive. She really affirmed me. She validated my experience, and she spoke life into me. And I appreciate her so much. So we'll close out with talking about this thing that my mom came across, because there was another lady there, who, I guess, yeah, she was kind of promoting and selling these stem cell patches for pain. And so we'll be getting more. We're going to be doing covering pain a whole lot more on the podcast from different aspects, different modalities. And so I'm going to reach out to this lady, or at least someone at the company, but it's these little stem cell patches, really tiny. And all I know is my mom put it on her knee and she thought it was amazing. She has osteoarthritis in her knee and she's tried pretty much everything. We did some PRP back in the spring. That episode will come out this summer. And so, yeah, and she was really impressed with it. You wear them for 12 hours and then you take it off. She even joined like a Zoom last night to learn more about it. I still need to learn more about it. And so when that happens, you'll know. But yeah, that's it. That's it for my weekend. I'm going to hop on a call with my web designer. And actually, La Roche-Posay I'm so busy. La Roche-Posay is having their their 4th annual Pride in Dermatology virtual event at 8 p.m. So if you're watching this, it's too late for you to join. But you should probably link up with their email listserv so you can find out about events they have in the future. So, I make this content for students, aspiring nurses, nurse practitioners. Maybe you're a second degree or a second career. You're looking for another new chapter. You want to know what's it like to be a nurse. I have the Virtual Preceptor Shop, which is a collection of digital resources to support you in getting that mentorship that you need and learning about the different avenues into nursing and up the ladder when it comes to prerequisites, cost, time, price, and opportunities, as well as the history of nursing and what the future looks like. You can find those in the description box at the Virtual Preceptor Shop. My first hard copy book, How to Get into Dermatology for Nurse Practitioners, will be coming out very, 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 very soon. And like I said, I'm going to bring the link. By the time when I come back next week, I'll be able to tell you about my my Mahogany Telederm website that will be available for you to check it out. As we're speaking, we have about a week and a few days before the DMV Dermatology and PPA group's first meet and greet here in the DMV. That is a private member-only Facebook page for NPs and PAs practicing in DC, Maryland, and Virginia as a way to network, learn about different ways we can partner, build our professional practice, find out other opportunities in the industry that bring fulfillment, and just address those concerns that we have outside of clinic, which is all about the patient. So we want to create a space that is all about the clinician. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, you can find me on the Mahogany Dermatology blog. Link is in the description box. Have a wonderful night, a great week, and I'll see you next time.